As human beings, our world is constantly shifting. We adapt and survive, but the digital revolution combined with the COVID-19 pandemic has transformed our everyday to an almost unrecognizable state. The digital revolution has opened a door to communications from all around the world at any time of the day. Technically, a social connection to another human being is possible 24 hours a day. However, our dependence on virtual communication, especially throughout the pandemic, has become severely detrimental to quality communication with others. We shy away from actual physical connections and social interactions, and we have become isolated. There is a mental health crisis, and the digital age is increasing the disparity of social disconnection. Those growing up today spend 75% less time in unstructured social engagement with peers compared to those who grew up before the smartphone era. Also, 38% of social media users reported it as having a negative impact on their mental health. We are losing connection from each other, and worst of all, we're losing connection from the local environment we live in. The digital and physical worlds are in competition for our attention. The convenience of online shopping means we would rather go online and have our purchases delivered than waste time to travel to a physical store. Our world centers on time and experiences as currency. We only leave our immediate surroundings for something that is beyond our expectation of online. We are disconnected from our local surroundings, and it is an epidemic among our town centers. Since 2016, 388 department stores have been shut. Anchor tenants in large shopping malls and department stores are failing to attract the customers they once did before. 21st century shoppers want the fastest way to get the product, and going to the store needs to offer more beyond the transaction. It should offer something unique, an experience. For our high streets to evolve, we must shift our thinking and consider the positive opportunities the experiential economy and the digital age provides. The lack of need for physical space is opening up a new opportunity for new uses on the high street, removing the oversaturation of retail and replacing it with spaces for the community and health. Every move we make online contributes to our digital footprint. A lot of what we agree to in the use of our data can be used to tailor ads and marketing that further engrosses us in the online world. However, this data can be used for good. For example, it opens the door for local councils to be more inclusive of residents in the area and make sure that they are well represented on panels and boards that they wouldn't have had before. How do we integrate the changes brought about by the digital revolution to breathe new life into our high streets?
Walthamstow is home to Europe's longest street market. There are over 500 stalls stretching a mile long. There are a plethora of goods available ranging from fresh fruit and veg to hand-woven fabrics. Alongside the markets, there is a bustling high street with a few empty stores. The high street is alive and well, however the landscape around is on the cusp of radical change. There are 1,158 new homes proposed in the high-rise buildings on and adjacent to the high street. While these could be beneficial to combat the ongoing housing crisis, their provision of amenities is less than sufficient. Only one of these new proposed developments is offering a GP or a health service. The focus of many others are commercial units on the ground floor. By 2050, there is expected to be a population increase of 16.5%. The question that surrounds Walthamstow is whether they have enough amenities to accommodate this huge population increase. Already today in Walthamstow, 43% of residents in the centre of the borough said their provisions for health services were insufficient. In fact, within the High Street catchment area, there are only 3 healthcare facilities. With 1,158 new homes going up by 2030, it's time we rethink healthcare and its position in our locality. The rise of health inequality across London, particularly post-pandemic, means our health services are already strained. Removing health services from parent hospitals and breaking down our current regimented system of healthcare could relieve the pressure on the NHS. Placing these healthcare breakouts in our immediate localities means they could bridge the gap of amenities and flow better with our day-to-day life. The current high street's future hangs in the balance. There is a need for something new and regenerative that meets the needs of the current and future population of Walthamstow, that provides an experiential element that is lost in today's digital age. Our town centres need to become the site of social interaction again, to reinvigorate ourselves, to get up out of our houses and rethink how we prioritise health and well-being in our everyday lives. Where on the high street can we implement this change?
Number 112 Walthamstow High Street is the home to Sainsbury's Superstore. The large plot has a significant presence on the high street. The building is a dying typology with a deep floor plate and as it stands today a large underused car park. The Sainsbury's building sits midway on Walthamstow High Street and is central to the new developments going up in the area. The building has been earmarked for future redevelopment and the provisions of 300 new homes. However, we can't help the question whether this pivotal location on the high street is the most appropriate place for new homes. We are proposing to adapt and reuse the Sainsbury's building. This supports the growing population as the building will become a centralised amenity to prioritise and provide for the people of Walthamstow. Combined with this, we want the population to rethink their attitude towards health and well-being in physical nature. In this health and well-being rethink, we propose the idea of preventative healthcare and how proper implementation can remove the pressures on current existing health services.
Who is involved? Having identified the need for a new form of healthcare in this digital age and using the example of Walthamstow as a testbed, we would like to experiment with a new partnership for the future. The NHS, Sainsbury's and Waltham Forest Council. For the NHS, having a centralised physical space on the high street will relieve pressure from the COVID-19 backlog and mitigate the influx of the new population and their healthcare needs. The current tenants of the building are Sainsbury's and have been since the 1970s. Sainsbury's are progressive in their approach of everyday provision of groceries, going beyond the store to encourage their shoppers to eat well, to live well. Waltham Forest own the building itself and many other buildings on the high street. They have a huge role to play in the future of Walthamstow. To future-proof the scheme, it is vital to investigate the shared agendas and ideas about the future from the three partners and deciding how to support them through programme. The future for Waltham Forest. Local councils around the world and in Walthamstow are responding to global issues of climate change, the pandemic and the digital revolution. With the climate emergency, Waltham Forest are setting targets and assigning money to schemes that reduce our impact on the planet. Within the community, Waltham Forest Council are encouraging their residents to consider alternative forms of transport and supplying new infrastructure to do this through their Mini Holland scheme. Waltham Forest are also creating communities through the communal green space and the idea of the 15-minute city, meaning residents should have access to all the amenities they need within a 15-minute walk or cycle. The future for Sainsbury's. Cost of living and climate crisis are pushing Sainsbury's beyond their position as a supermarket and to consider their position globally. Sainsbury's are open to partnerships within communities and on a wider national scale to promote nutrition and healthy sales. Sainsbury's have created their own community through Nectar Cards, which has the opportunity to become a responsible food purchasing system, encouraging healthy eating. Sainsbury's are also working to become responsible with their surplus food, donating to communities and for it to be broken down into fertiliser and compost. Health starts at home and with a healthy diet. Sainsbury's are asking customers to rethink their meals and providing helpful recipes and information, repositioning knowledge as the currency and providing it for free. The supermarket is under pressure to move with the trends of modern life and reinvent convenience to entice people through the doors. The future for the NHS. COVID-19 and Brexit has placed unimaginable stress on the NHS. With urgent care a priority, the waiting list for elective care and diagnostics got longer and longer. Moreover, the pandemic has discouraged people from coming forward about issues with their health that seem too minor to place unnecessary stress on an already strained health service. The NHS feel they need to have more of a participatory and permanent presence in the community. Pop-up vaccination centres for COVID-19 have further proved that a convenient and strategic position in everyday life is essential to make sure communities get the care they need. They serve also as a reminder as we go about our daily lives the importance of health to make smart choices, and many illnesses are preventable. Healthcare, like many other things, has gone digital, but again, like many other things, the physical nature of healthcare will never be replaced. The NHS are working towards synchronising the two to provide optimum care. It is becoming more typical for the NHS to prescribe social groups or activities to combat isolation and loneliness many are experiencing in this increasingly digital age. Our main aims of the partnership are to remove the pressure on health services and reduce the stigma of diagnostics by breaking it out from behind hospital walls. Focus on the nutritional health of the residents and communicate the benefits that eating well has on our overall health. And provide an inclusive and welcoming social and educational space that caters to all of the residents of the borough. We are financially supporting the building through two anchor tenants, Sainsbury's and the NHS, with financial input from the council and the developers through Section 106. Through this partnership, we are hoping to shift the currency from money to social value and encourage developers to consider the social return on their investment and the benefits as opposed to a financial gain.
The building will become a pause on the high street, a break from the bustling market stalls and foot traffic. The facade steps back to an open public plaza, a congregation point on the high street. A new route has been carved out through the building to connect the new developments to the high street, which in turn will connect the new and existing residents. A ramp takes the community through the building, a catalyst for social interaction. It encourages the users to put away their phones and digital devices and to engage with the many activities in the building. The Sainsbury's is situated on the ground floor centrally to the rest of the building. As the ramp wraps around, it leads the users through the building and on to the open green roof. The green roof supports many collective activities that connect us back to each other and our environment, including community growing, team sports, and recreational outdoor activity. The building supports many aspects of preventative health and includes a community diagnostic centre at the front. The diagnostic centre will alleviate the pressure on the NHS with the COVID-19 backlog and support the future residents with new healthcare provisions. Supportive spaces for the Sainsbury's include a community kitchen and a click and collect grocery service. These two spaces will align with Sainsbury's future vision of helping everyone to eat better. The community kitchen is a space for the locals to come together and learn new recipes and the importance of nutrition for our health and well-being. The click and collect grocery area is on the ground floor of the building with a high street frontage. It offers convenience to those who don't have the time to complete a physical shop and supports Sainsbury's mission to combat food waste by donating food to those who need it. Vision of the Mini Holland and new cycle infrastructure in Walthamstow. There is a new cycle route through the building, encouraging an alternative form of travel to and from, and a new way to experience the building. Forest recently secured investment for the establishment of a creative industries hub. These makerspaces will ensure the funding is used appropriately and is far-reaching within the community. The spaces will provide a cathartic release for the residents of Walthamstow. They are also an opportunity for social interaction amongst residents, supporting the NHS agenda of social prescription. Number 112 on the High Street becomes a place of social cohesion, learning and catharsis. The future of the partnership with their shared agendas is strong and will carry Walthamstow through its future development and onwards, providing a strong sense of the importance of health and well-being in the community, supported within our day-to-day life.